I've been trying to distill everything. There's so much. And I think we need to create like a sustained credits university course.
It's so broad.
Yeah. If I just talk about the currency side of things, it's just too abstract. If you put every single opportunity on it, for example, we can talk about tree planting, and it's just one aspect of it. This is everything. I hope I can simplify everything very quickly. New arrivals, if you want to introduce yourself, feel free. If you can, please have your videos on, then I can react as if I'm doing this publicly. I'm doing it a bit blind. What you guys are looking at is our map. We are currently in 81 countries. Lots of healing activity going on. Meng Wei, you're here, right? We have doctors in Singapore.
Oh yeah.
Hi, Nicola.
Hi, how are
Welcome.
you?
I'm doing good. Where are you calling from now?
I'm calling from England. Where are you?
I'm from the Philippines. Hi, Chris and Jude.
I'm in Nottingham at the moment.
Nottingham.
Earth Doctor's in Nottingham.
Teresa.
I'm near the Beeston Canal, the first one.
We have a big house.
60 attendees confirmed.
Okay, I'm from Nigeria.
Are you in our map?
No.
Not yet. Soon. This
Yeah,
weekend.
soon. Cool.
Hi, Melissa, Philip, Teresa, and Nick.
Switzerland, right?
Yep.
You are an Earth Doctor.
Yeah.
Hi, Gloria and Katie.
Had a good King's Day.
I couldn't do much, but it was okay. It's many people, and yeah, wow. This is the first time after 2 years, I think people were allowed to drink and party. It was crazy.
Hi, David. And where are you from today?
Based in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates.
See if you have any Earth Doctors.
Not sure. Yeah, there is a spot.
Only Dubai.
Dubai. Oh, Qatar is busy. Wow, very good.
I'm going to give you the entire sustainability universe, and it covers so many different things. When I was writing this up, each slide is a presentation in its own right, because it's another way of looking at things. Sustained credits, we've been going for 10 months now, a couple of days time. We've come a significant way, and we haven't had any public unveiling. People in the audience today, from companies, businesses, ecological organizations, to Earth Doctors, to charities, to economists, to governments. I'm going to start off by telling you about me. I have to blow my trumpet because no one knows me. My name is Lanx, which is my nickname. I'm originally from Sri Lanka. I left Sri Lanka to the UK when I was 18. Half my life I've been in Sri Lanka and the remaining half in the UK. I'm from a computer science mathematics background. Set up my first business when I was 23. At that sort of age, you like shiny things. I was no different. I was attracted to the economic potential. That wasn't necessarily a purpose. But I had success as a business person. It wasn't something that gave me lots of satisfaction. Primarily a creative entrepreneur versus a businessman who takes a long-term view as opposed to a short-term view. I tend to create new things as opposed to business, which is you buy something and then you sell it at a higher price, and whatever you make is your income in the middle. Got to put some caveats as well. I'm highly eccentric. If you get me on a good day, I'm lovely. If not, the flip side. I'm contrarian, so I don't agree much. One thing I can guarantee is I'm 100% authentic. The company is, in Sanskrit, Maitri Artha Shastra Limited, means the science of kindness and wealth. It's an enterprise with a long-term vision to enhance humanity, to eliminate waste. By waste, I don't mean trash, but wasteful practices, with the internal culture that is aligned to the Tao, as a reference to the Taoistic foundations, which is about living in harmony with the natural order. What the company does is it pursues missions instead of businesses or ventures. Each mission is a period of 10 to 12 years. Upon completion, it moves on to something else. Each mission can have a number of business ventures aimed at achieving its mission. Currently, the company is in the mission of health. The focus is on sustained credits, where its purpose is to heal the world. To explain the philosophy of the company, this is something I spent 5 years exploring. There are 3 values. The first value is the concept of truth, which is science with wisdom. Science alone, you have fossil fuels and plastics, to use the right examples, which gives you short-term benefit, but with disastrous consequences in the long term. Another is nuclear technology, which you can use for Hiroshima, but you can also use it to cure cancer, and that would be the wiser implementation, the base where everything is built upon. The second value is the concept of loving kindness. With the view of loving kindness, not just human life, but all conscious life being equal. A human life is equivalent to an animal life. It's not a vegan thing, because that would exclude things like hunter-gatherer. It goes counter to the first value, which from an evolutionary standpoint, hunter-gatherer lifestyle forms something. The third value, which exists to propel both, is the concept of economy. Money is very powerful because it is the driver of all non-voluntary human action. The reason why you're at work today, why people do certain things, is money. And the negative way of saying that is greed, because once you have the economic angle covered, it becomes a runaway train which will propel activity towards its pursuits. The psychological view is gamification. Once you have the first two values which are grounded and you unleash an economy, it'll spread more good and more truth. Greed is okay if it is grounded in good. I really like this representation as to the immediate purpose of the company. You have the two base values of truth and the concept of love. If you just focus on those two, then it's within the religion territory. If you put the economy on top, and that's why it's portrayed as a rocket, the rocket engine ignites, it carries everything with it. The economy value and the economic pursuits that we engage in is blue ocean strategy. You have traditional business strategy, which is red ocean strategy, where you compete within existing marketplaces, more or less a zero-sum game. There's a whole bunch of competition that exists within it. Blue ocean strategy is where you create a new market. You make the competition irrelevant because that doesn't exist. It's innovation. Everything that we do is within the blue ocean side of things. We are here to create value as opposed to trade value. In terms of the political philosophy of the company, Karl von Clausewitz, his book on war is the gold standard in military strategy, the Clausewitz Trinity, where he analyzed Napoleon, who encompassed all three elements: the government, the passion of the people, and then he had the element of chance, which is explained as military. The problem with the military is the instrument is violence. If you replace military with economy, the chance element with economy, then you can still pursue the same political aims without the instrument of violence. We're here for sustained credits. Sustained credits is a succinct expression of the parent company's philosophy. On the base, you have ecological science, and then you have the concept of loving kindness, which is the action that it performs. The economy, you have the rocket which pulls both together, the fundamental driver of non-voluntary human action. The purpose is to heal the world. The human damage to nature is huge. This crisis is massive, but together we can solve it. How this is executed, sustained credits is a reward system, a fully backed currency that rewards Earth doctors for any action they perform to improve nature. What is sustained credits? Very simply, it's like carbon credits, but it's grassroots. Unlike carbon credits, it's everything sustainability and not just climate. The reason why we are focusing on carbon credits and climate is it's a bit of a reactive process where 200 years ago we started releasing fossil fuels. Now 200 years later we had this climate thing happening, but it goes beyond that. That includes everything within sustainability to its aim, which is to reverse human damage to nature. If you look at its model, it's essentially donut economics, which is Kate Raworth's 2012 paper, where she talks about the finite resources in a planet, but the economic models or linear economics, assuming infinite growth is possible. She has identified different elements within the biosphere. It's a practical execution of that independently arrived because it came as a result of the philosophy. If you look at the classical view of sustainability, you have environment, which is one pillar, and then economic and society. That's pretty much exactly where sustained credits fits the box, the top left box about the social, economic, and environmental benefits that it pursues. I want to have a quick caveat because I talk about the fully backed currency, and this is a very common mistake. People assume that it's a cryptocurrency. Sustained credit is not a cryptocurrency because most cryptocurrencies, and there are exceptions, and it is viable as a technology in certain cases, they are built upon Ponzi economics, where the value is artificial demand without binding it. As soon as it runs out, the same thing happens, and we're in the midst of one. We don't know which way it's going to go. Instead, sustained credits is the Uberisation of sustainability. Uber, the taxi company that revolutionized transport 15 years ago, wait half an hour for a taxi, pay double the fare. now, taxi in a couple of minutes, and everyone gets value. The rider gets a half price fare and better service. The driver makes more income. It's that model. The currency is the execution route. How does it work financially? 80% of all income go to the Earth Doctors for grassroots action. I want to stress on the point, it's income, not profit. Then you have 20% for growth and operations. How is it? In fact, this graphic is a good representation. On one side, you have the total income backing sustained credits. On the other side, you have the total outflow, the total sustained credits in circulation. The value of a sustained credit is determined by the total cash in the Earth Fund divided by the total sustained credits in circulation. That gives you the value of a sustained credit. Looking at the future from a global currency model, there is a talking symbol. The word is healer because we are here to heal the world, inspired by the dollar. As more ecological value is created, more sustained credits will be in circulation. The spot rate goes down, but as more income is driven into the Earth Fund, the value will go up. This is our current valuation. How do you become an Earth Doctor? Easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1, heal the world in any capacity. Step 2, you send the proof, which includes photos, videos, and the exact location for verification. You can reach out to us on any of the channels, all social media, email, web, WhatsApp, and you get sustained credits with respect to the ecological value that has been generated. The sustained credits can be redeemed for cash, can be used to make sustainable purchases within the truly sustainable economy. You can use it to buy a bicycle, but not a car. Even if it's electric, it still has a huge sustainability footprint with regards to lithium. You can use it to donate to another Earth Doctor in greater need to double the good. We have lots of Earth Doctors in the Western Hemisphere or the more wealthier countries who collect sustained credits. If the valuation is high, say £10 or £100 or whatever it is, that money can go a longer way in another part of the world. If they want, they can choose to donate it. That voluntary activity also provides an economic benefit to propel the same purpose in another part of the world. That's how you become an Earth Doctor and take part in this process. The current movements that are in existence, this is Extinction Rebellion. They focus on the prevention, but it's a bit aggressive in terms of what's happening. They don't really take the necessary action that's required. This is the Earth Doctors movement, which Sustained Credit built and runs, where everyone all over the world comes together to take part in action to heal the world. Plant trees, clear up beaches, lakes, ponds, everywhere, anywhere in the world. I'll talk quickly about the economics. It's like a scale. One side you have the total money in the cash reserve, on the other side you have the total sustained credit circulation. The outflow, who can get sustained credits? Earth Doctors, the grassroots individuals that are healing the world. NGOs, non-government organizations that do the same activity at an organizational level. Charities, there's Fundación Pachamama based in Peru, working with indigenous people to maintain the Amazon rainforests. Projects that deliver what the United Nations identified as SDGs, so Sustainable Development Goals. SDGs that we cover, there are 17 SDGs that have been identified. And this is a bit of a reactive process where the UN looks at the world and says, these are some of the goals, how can we fix that? But indirectly, without working towards any of these SDGs, this is the thing that Sustained Credits does. It works towards alleviating poverty, works towards good health. The ones in bold are the ones that we cover. Almost 10 months in operation. We've been focusing the first 9 months on the Earth Doctor movement. We are in 81 countries. We planted over 21,000 trees all over the world. We are actively maintaining the same trees. There's plastics rescued from entering the oceans and causing damage to wildlife and microplastics. We've also received 17 nominations to the Earthshot Prize that's awarded by Prince William. These are some of the organizations that have nominated us. I think a number of you are within the audience. I've selected one quote from Arup, which captures what we are trying to do. Thank you, Katie, for that. The Sustained Credits economic philosophy, we engage in activity to bring funds into the Earth Fund so that they can be distributed to all the Earth Doctors. We are open to all sources, but we have a very strong preference for income that is based on delivering tangible value. Rather than go for ESG budgets, we prefer to go for marketing budgets. The image at the bottom, you have a lady who's giving for charitable purposes. She's probably giving £5. Then she's likely to go and spend £50 on stuff that she actually needs. Our economic philosophy is going towards that, as opposed to the same old money that everyone's competing on. Ultimately, the value of each sustained credit will normalize and saturate because we are a market. Right now, the valuation is 0.0062 pounds, fraction of a penny. Our aim is to get it to £1. Once we get there, our economic engine will Kaizen, continuously improve, to innovate, pursue additional income sources, actively expand the market to increase the value of each sustained credit. The inflows, all the cash and the Earth Fund. There are things that are currently live and which are in process. We have Earthright. Earthright is like copyright, work done to heal the world. If someone cleaned up a beach, you can buy the Earthright. This is something that someone has purchased who wanted something from an earth doctor in Pakistan, Saad. He's planted trees, he's sprouted his own. The buyer bought the right for this. This is currently live. The closest thing is NFT. Earth sponsor accreditation. This is an accreditation for companies so that they can take part in healing, backing, or offsetting. People within the UK or Europe will be familiar with a company called B Corp. They also nominated us to the Earthshot Prize. If you look at how they started as a company 6-7 years ago, now every company wants to be a B Corp. They came from nowhere to becoming the most popular sustainability certification that companies willingly pay for to get that. The commercial stream is inspired by B Corp. 6 years ago, no one's heard of them. Now every company is fighting over to get that certification. That is the idea here. We come up with an accreditation that companies can put on their product with the aim to reverse the sustainability footprint and as an off-the-shelf product to buy ESG or CSR activity, rather than spend a lot of money to organize, do it through sustained credits and done. What you get in return is branding for marketing, which is a sponsor badge and media of work done. There's some indicative pricing here. It can be based on employee, how much staff as a percentage of revenue, say 1%. And it can also be per unit sold. For example, Coca-Cola, they're selling all these Coca-Cola bottles. If there was a 1 penny charge per bottle, which goes into Earth Doctors to rescue them from entering into nature and wreaking havoc. What companies get is branding for marketing and then the full access to the media. In 5 years' time, we'll be B Corp, where everyone gets to benefit, but it goes towards social impact as well. Another certification, which we will launch in the next 5 years because the market is not right for it. This is the ambitious version of it. If a company does X amounts worth of damage, they need to give back that X, because otherwise they're socializing their costs and taking money from the public. The problem with B Corp is it's a checkbox exercise. It doesn't look at calculating the true costs of a company doing business. For example, you have the Coca-Cola company, which is making billions in profit, but the profits are high because the true costs are not included. Who pays for the plastic? They are socialized to the detriment of the public. What we aim to do is to create a certification to calculate the true costs of a company doing business. We can calculate Coca-Cola 3 billion in profit, but the actual cost of them doing business is 10 billion. We provide that framework, scientifically accurate. The company can either minimize it or look at offsetting it. Calculate it first, costs that are not included in the profit and loss statement and therefore socialized to the detriment of the wider public. And once these costs have been calculated, this provides a built-in mechanism. The companies can pay to be distributed to the Earth Doctors who actively reverse the damage caused in those ways. So we have a shopping platform called Planezon. Planezon is short for Planezone. It's an e-commerce platform where people buy products with complete peace of mind that everything is ecologically curated and good for the planet. You can't go buy something that's shipped halfway around the world, which is not priced correctly. You can't buy a gas guzzling car within that platform, but you can buy a bicycle. The algorithms are based on social impact. If you have a craftsperson from Indonesia who's upcycled plastic waste from entering the oceans and created a sustainable handbag, and then you have Stella McCartney, who's got a nice sustainable handbag. The craftsperson's one will rank higher because the income from that purchase will improve the local community. It'll go a further way in delivering impact.
Somebody who will take the trash and put it up in a better way. Like I can do it in an art way. So like, see what I'm doing now, this is basically a pizza box, right? So I'm using this as my canvas board for painting. So simple things like that. So something, I mean, like recycle in a very entertaining way, exciting way. I would love to do that.
That's known as upcycling waste.
Yes.
With what we're trying to do, we're trying to build an economic value So that can come into it. Planezon, you can list it and people can see it's an artwork that is made by you on an old pizza box. Let's call it £10. This is something that's done by you. We're trying to get people to recycle or upcycle the waste, because your grassroots, the social impact of the purchase goes 100% to you. Your product will rank higher than someone else's equivalent product. That is Planezon, where sustained credits can be spent and the profits go into the Earth Fund to back the sustained credits that we issue. This is something I'm quite excited about. It's a game called Earth.go, launching within the next 3 to 6 months. Pokemon Go, very famous 10 years ago, where you could walk around, hunt virtual Pokemons. The same concept, but you play the game to plant trees. You play the game to clear up nature. You play the game to maintain nature, and you get paid actual money for playing it. How does the financial model work? This game affords advertising opportunities to companies within the game itself. I've highlighted a couple of use cases. A local business, say a coffee shop, can mark its territory as being maintained by them. Any Earth doctor who's playing the game can see that and can see the associated advertising spend, or how much in terms of a sustained credit multiplier they will get by making sure that those streets are clean. The company that is advertising gains encourages healing or better maintenance of that surrounding compared to someone else. The tree planting side of things, Aramco, the largest oil company in the world, they could mark the entire territory of the Sahara Desert for tree planting within that region. Entities that want to go and plant trees, that is possible with the game.
Is that like kind of a way for the sustained credits to be awarded, or is that completely separate? Because I was thinking, like, if you're thinking about doing, say, litter picking, would people then have to choose whether to do it through the game or whether to claim the sustained credits, or can they do both, or are they like two different parts of the same system?
It's just a different manifestations. You have the website and the mobile apps. We will always have all the channels, because we have people in many parts of the world which don't really have internet and not the latest phones, which won't be able to run this game. Mm-hmm. With this game, people in economically well-off countries can also make a decent income. The minimum wage in the UK is £8. If you have a massive Sainsbury's around, this bit is maintained by Sainsbury's. They decide to spend £10,000 on advertising it, which covers the normal amount of money they spend a month to maintain that area using paid staff. Someone who's playing the game can see, if I clean this little area, gets me a 10x multiplier. If a sustained credit is £1 at that stage, which is the global rate, but it's backed by Sainsbury's, it becomes £10. It's more attractive versus another street which is maintained by, say, McDonald's, who's not as generous, doesn't have any sort of multiplier to it. So Sainsbury's area will be a lot cleaner. To highlight that same example, I've used this visual of Kensington Gardens, the residence of Prince William and his missus and his family. It's open to the public. They could advertise in the game. That entire region is marked maintenance activity that the public do. The funds come from Prince William's budget or the Royal Foundation's budget. There's another use case, your street or just outside your home, saying this is maintained by you during autumn, or the leaves are on your doorstep. Then your neighbors will come and clean up. That becomes a way for people in the West to make a supplementary income out of it.
Yeah, thank you.
More income sources, less merchandise. We're looking at merchandise for Earth doctors. This is like a petty income source. Nicola, is there a way that we can link up the trees that are all over the world with some of the carbon markets that you have established?
Well, yeah, because trees are already involved in the carbon markets.
But our trees, linking up the sustained credits for qualifying carbon credits from you, so that becomes an income stream that gets straight to the Earth doctors.
But I would look at it the other way around, because you're the new kid on the block, and what you could do is try and work with what you've got and dovetail into a project. Has to be a certain size, and often or sometimes that threshold can preclude some of the grassroots, the really small stuff happening and getting emission reductions. So maybe what you could focus on, or one could focus on, is that new interface.
Thanks for that.
Yeah,
thank you.
No worries.
The carbon value, the carbon credits of the trees that we have collectively planted, once you extract the dollar value and put it into the Earth Fund, that can go to the grassroots Earth doctors. We're working on a financial instrument that delivers impact. You have philanthropy. When you give money away, most cases you put in $100, what it gets on the ground is less than 10. Even though it's seen as charitable activities, the administration cost is very high. £1 million into a specific project, it takes 2 years. You're not sure that it's going to be done. If it is done, you'll find the on-the-ground money was 50,000. With sustained credits, it's already happened. Sustained credits provides a 10x multiplier because 80% goes straight to the Earth Doctor for impact already achieved. This is a very powerful way of getting a return on the philanthropic dollars. It becomes a financial instrument for executing UN SDGs and the Paris Agreement. Where we are now, we're building a company in Singapore where we're focusing on driving revenues from Japan, Hong Kong, South Korea, and the countries within the region. This is something I wanted to end with, and it's apt with this Niccolo Machiavelli quote. There's nothing more difficult to plan, more doubtful of success, no more dangerous to manage than the creation of a new order of things. We're progressing full steam ahead. We'd like to have your support, how you can support us. Join as Earth Doctors, heal the world and get rewarded. We've been focusing our first 10 months on growing the movement. That's why we have the stronger presence in 81 countries and the active healing has happened. We built that. We are grateful and thankful to all our Earth Doctors who got us to where we are right now. Our goal is to incentivize the entire 7 billion people in the planet to get on this activity. Revenue partnerships, which is going to propel the healing action that's going to happen. The more money in the Earth Fund, the more money into grassroots efforts. Now's the time that we're looking at the revenue side of the business. Once you get the revenues in, the other side is going to carry on. With the Earth Sponsor program, we have an initial version of it called Founding Earth Sponsor. It's a limited edition product only for 1,000 companies, and it's priced at £1,000. It'll give us our first million of income, which will lead to a high valuation of sustained credits. Growth capital is something we're looking at. Everything was built on a shoestring. It's a bootstrapped effort. We are looking for equity investment from the right channels, but not people not aligned. That's why we are pursuing things like grants and prizes, which we know are fairly neutral. Founding Earth Sponsor gives us £200,000 to reinvest in the business, to grow our ambitions within what I've disclosed. We get to test out the payment process as well with the fractional valuation. Even the highest earning Earth Doctor will have like £1 worth. It's going to cost more to transfer than it is to get paid. The onus is on the Earth Doctor to tell us how they would like to receive the money. You can also join the team looking for idealists with a focused passion. You can rest assured that it's a strict meritocracy. We are here to change the world. To do that, you just need to have a full sustained effort. As with any business, with the first couple of years you're trying to do this. With our business, we have all of these different streams up and running, many things to do. The positives are when something works, you focus on that and you expand. You know the trajectory that we're going. At the moment, it's a small team. It's remarkable what we've done so far. You shouldn't really blow your own trumpet. I don't think many other initiatives have this sort of achievement. And there are a billion things you can do. It's one step at a time. The next problem is to make the sustained credit value higher. It's been done before. And I think with our take on it and looking at all forms of acceleration, if you look at how sustained credit is done, it's executed as a currency, but works on the Uber model. It has all of these different things. We are very creative in terms of trying to get there. That's why I need to be on this. I currently live like a monk. That's the only way to achieve this, and to be free of biases and to be 100% focused. This is going to carry on.
I've been listening, and most of it went over my head because I'm not basically one of a person who would believe in money for doing earthworks. But okay, if you're giving, that's always a bonus. I think you would have seen that most of what I do is either beach cleanups, because I've done more than 190 cleanups, but then I don't post everything and I'm too lazy to send it to you people most of the time. But what I have seen is we need lots of groundwork to be done. And I think Sustained Credits also has lots of people doing beach cleanups now. If we want a sustainable earth, we should be basically taking interest of the children, because they are the future. So the education has to be given. Just the school education is not enough. We need someone from a proper organization like yours, because that gives us the respect. Otherwise, schools don't call us. If you can, so even sitting over here, if I can talk to 4-5 schools in 4 different countries, I'm ready. I would love to do that. I'm ready to work. So you just have to tell me how, and how can I help you.
Let me work that through and I'll get back to you in a couple of weeks or so.
yeah,
And
sure.
we can keep talking on email. We are connected on LinkedIn as well. Start thinking about it. We are open to it. If there is a way that kids can also be paid for it, that's what we're here to do. We're trying to assign value to ecology and give it to people. There is a future value because that's prevention. If you teach a kid right, then for the next 30 years, how much waste or how much negative work are you going to prevent? Thank you for your support.
We'll always be there to support you.
My name is Malika Tajmuratova. I am from the Regional Environmental Center for Central Asia. It's a Central Asian non-governmental organization which focuses on addressing environmental problems and assists the government. We are based in Almaty, Kazakhstan, and we work across all 5 Central Asian countries, which are Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. We are an official nominator for the Earthshot Prize organized by the Royal Foundation. We were really excited to nominate this brilliant project idea for the prize as our star nomination this year. On behalf of our organization, we think that this idea is breakthrough because it has a philanthropic value, it has an innovative approach, and it has long-term impact for the ecological regeneration activities all over the world. We already see very good progress on this. Just for 9 months of operation, you already scaled up more than 80 countries, if I'm not mistaken. 81, yeah, great. It's really cool. We see the potential, and from CAREC side, I just want to share one slide. So let me go straight to the opportunities for cooperation that we would like to propose. We can cooperate within 3 pillars. First is information sharing, awareness raising. We have the dialogue platforms, different events that we conduct within implementation of our project, both at the regional, local, and global levels. We are ready to partner with Sustain Credit and act like its partner across the Central Asian region. Through the PR campaign, we would like to engage more Earth doctors from Central Asia region. It would be a very good contribution to the expansion. Secondly, CAREC acts as a knowledge hub in the region. We are operating for more than 20 years in the region. We have this institutional knowledge, and our flagship platforms, the Central Asia Climate Information Platform, a knowledge repository, e-learning space, job portal space, where you can get the Earth doctors. The third one is the participation at CAREC events. One of them is Central Asian Leadership Program. It's conducted annually. This program brings together more than 50 young and mid-professionals from state agencies, academia, NGOs, all across all 5 Central Asian countries. It's a really good platform for Sustain Credits to show up and make a presentation and expand your audience and make good collaborations at the governmental levels into this initiative. The second is the Central Asia Pavilion at the UNFCCC Conference of the Parties, which will be held in Egypt this year. Last year, we organized the Central Asia Pavilion at COP26 in Glasgow. It was quite a success. We wanted to build on this experience and continue this good tradition this year and organize the same pavilion. Within this pavilion, we will be having multiple side events, and we are ready to offer a slot to make a presentation. It would be a good opportunity to attract funding, to establish partnerships with donor agencies, international organizations, or global businesses and different entities. I just wanted to make a call to the rest of the audience that we have now. If you represent an organization, just let's brainstorm or think how could your organization at your level make contribution to the development of sustained credits on a mutually beneficial basis.
That's not something I've really looked into, to be honest. I was more just more supporting in the Earthshot and team of people preparing Earthshot nominations. I think that's something maybe we'd have to go back to Sarah and speak to her about if she sees any more collaboration or what sort of collaboration would be possible.
Yeah, so thank you so much.
Please ask me questions.
Hey, that was really interesting to hear more detail about Sustain Credits. So thank you for your presentation. I'm interested to know a bit more about the actual digital currency of the Sustain Credits. So I know you said it's not a cryptocurrency. I know you said it's not based on blockchain. But I was wondering sort of like how the Earth Doctors can know they can rely on it. What's the kind of the basis, and how is its like cash value determined in different currencies? I know you said you've got a value in sterling, but how is that transferred by just the sort of exchange rates that are going between normal currencies, or is that somehow adjusted?
Yeah, okay, so good question. Say we have £1 million in the Earth Fund and there's 1 million sustained credits in circulation, then each sustained credit is equal to £1. If £1 million equals $1.5 million, then each sustained credit is equal to $1.5. That's the underlying economics behind it. Blockchain has a number of issues with it, ecologically not very sound with the carbon footprint. You can't have the same proof of work process that we have. We need to see the work that people have done to heal the world. The proof of work is either photos, videos with the exact location of the work done, and we will evaluate and issue the corresponding sustained credits in return. What we have is very simple. The database that we maintain, every single sustained credit that has been issued is fully tracked to the work to issue that credit. Blockchain can be a technology, but polarizing at this stage. If there is a need for that technology, that can be what it is. Our data is fully transparent. It's available for anyone to peruse and view. Potentially that becomes an income stream where we monetize the data sharing side of things. The income goes into the Earth Fund. The reason that we do things the way we are doing is because we actively engage in bringing money into the Earth Fund.
I'm not sure entirely how Uber works, because I've always got the impression that Uber is a bit of an exploitative business model, but I'm sure that's not the part of it that you're going for.
The Uber model is a two-sided marketplace. One side you have the Earth Doctors, on the other side you have the cash. Uber got it wrong because they introduced the gig economy. There are 190 something countries in the world. Each country has very different labor laws. So we don't look at it like a form of employment, but it's a reward system. Think of it like Tesco club card. The more you buy, the more club card points you accumulate, or the more you fly, the more air miles you get.
The other question I had was, if people have got like sustained credits that they're building up, I guess they have those stored sort of on an account or something, so they can use them to spend or like exchange for cash on the various things you mentioned. That's essentially almost like a kind of bank account, but for your sustained credits. And so is that covered, or do you plan for that to be covered by things like, say in the UK, there's the Financial Services Compensation Scheme, and I'm sure other countries might have similar things. Is that covered by something like that? Earth
Doctors can request to see the total sustained credits on the system. Right now, it's a manual process. They have to manually request it. As we improve the technology, it's a quick check the balance. So if you use, say, American Express credit cards, air mile points, that is the system.
I have like 71 credit points as far as I have seen. How much does that value up to?
Right now, 0.006 times 70. What is that? Probably
like
around
half a pound. 0.5 of a pound. 0.42.
Maybe even less, actually.
Yeah.
What I showed everyone is the commercial blueprint for us to progress on the income avenues. Once we make a clean slate start from next month on all these commercial efforts, and if it becomes a pound, then they're worth like 70 pounds. If you don't want that money, you can give it to someone else. There was a slide around the future. If you're going through this now, you need to get a lot of governments on board to explain it within this model and all the ways that we're bringing income. It's not possible. Primarily for legislative and compliance purposes, a reward system. What we do is we actively engage to bring money into the system. By bringing money into the system, we are here to encourage more activity to restore our planet to the natural order.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. I'm also interested in, you sent us your business plan document, which outlines some of your other missions that you're working on. And I guess I was firstly wondering, like, what's the sort of link between them? So things like the PERFECTIMISED and other missions, how do they link with sustained credit?
The company, we are here to heal the world. That's the mission. The company exists to propel its purpose to benefit all of life and humanity. That purpose can be applied to different things, and you can apply it to the whole world, or you can apply it to one specific segment. Our current mission is the mission of health, with food as medicine or prevention. It started off as food as medicine to focus on human health, and sustained credits started along the same lines, healing the world with the sustainability initiative. This is what the world needs at this stage. Sustained credits is to do with the health of the planet.
Yeah, I think the sustained credits part of the business sounds excellent. I'm a little concerned about some of the ethics of some of the other missions, like particularly the health coin. And the Perfectimised is quite an expensive subscription service. It's not entirely sure what it's offering.
With Health Coin, it's exactly like sustained credits, but the mission that is pursued with Health Coin is, we know the price of bad health. UK government spends £3,000 on healing people, but we don't know the price of good health. We are trying to find that value. If a country is healthy, what is the economic value, that's or the cultural value? If we can figure that out and we use that money to reward people as they improve their health measures. If you have someone who's unhealthy, obese or however, they get into the healthy range, lifespan is going to go up, they're going to be happier, they're going to engage in creative endeavors. What is that economic value? The goal is to build a thing where people get rewarded for improving themselves. The world is going towards automation and AI. The decision making that people have to do is getting less and less and less. Once everything becomes automated, people will do what people can to unleash the creative value of humanity. What we are trying to do is to assign a value to things that people can do and bring it forward. There is true value being unleashed. With Perfectimised, the quality of the ingredient is something else. The actual botanicals that exists within Ayurveda, traditional Chinese medicine, Campo medicine in Japan, and South American medicine. The vision behind it is you have all these historic knowledge that exists within the traditional medicine, but they are not in the mainstream. If you take them regularly, they are more powerful because they come not with side effects, but benefits, versus medicine, which is a reactive process. You cure something that's broken. For example, there's hair loss, and the avenue right now is you take drugs which will prevent hair loss. With Perfectimised, there are lots of natural ingredients which will get the same effects without the side effects of drugs.
But I guess if you get into debating the kind of, I just think you need to think very carefully about it, because I think there's a lot of potential for it to kind of be a quite discriminatory system based on people's sort of ability to take positive health actions. And I think the idea of commoditizing good health and turning it into a sort of economic model is, I think that's quite a hairy area to get into, like from an ethical perspective.
If someone's unhealthy and then you make them healthy, then they stand to gain more income. It hasn't been developed as much as sustained credits. The idea is to develop it in the next 5 to 10 years. We can work together on that at some point in the future, maybe 2 3 years. It was to be pursued with NHS doctors who were part of the initial founding team.
Thank you.
Yeah, we get questions here from the chat. We have here from Denise.
Wow, there's a ton of questions in here.
No worries, I recorded it.
Okay, Denise's question. We all do this work. How can we get paid for it? Carbon credits exchange or more of grant writing? I'll answer Denise's question very simply. You do work to heal the world. If you improve, you create ecological value, you prove that you've done it, then you get sustained credits in return based on the ecological restoration you've done. That's how you get paid. We do everything we can with your help to increase the value of a sustained credit as compensation for yourself or to fund your existing work into the future. Doing an activity, say planting a tree in a developed country versus developing country, have the same reward value. Right now, yes. Right now, that's what it is. If you're going for the generic sustained credits, then it'll be the same value. That's what we're trying to do with the advertising potential. If you're going for sustained credits that have been marked on Earth.go, then it'll have that higher value. With Earth.go, for example, if British Petroleum, the fossil fuel company, can mark off an area of public land and say, if you plant trees here, you will get paid by us. That's one way of localizing. Will you have a guide on the value of different types of work and activity? We have an initial guide to get off the ground. We want to expand on that, applying even more ecological science, make it proportional to the value that's been created. One of the questions, if someone's trying to game the system and sending the same picture over and over again, what's our take on it? First of all, we do everything we can to minimize it because we have a system which gets other Earth doctors to peer review other Earth doctors' work. If someone says they planted a tree here, then another Earth doctor can go and check and then get a reward for peer reviewing that. They can maintain it as well. That's the system that'll make that foolproof. If someone's gaming the system, it's not so much of an issue from us because it'll go towards a good cause. If there's someone in a poor part of the world who's trying to claim more credits than it's worth, it's still going to the local community to be used within that community. That'll encourage even more economic activity. Let's wrap up now. Thanks very much for attending, guys. I hope you found it useful. This progress. We focus on results and go to where we can go. So thanks again. If there's anything, you have my email. Feel free to get in touch and speak soon.